paintings next door, or there's some probably hanging around here, they take quite a bit of time. And a lot of watercolors are done in layers, starting with a light value, and then letting that dry, and then maybe doing mid values, letting that dry, and then dark values. And so obviously you can't get that done in an hour. And some of my paintings, the big paintings, the big ones next door on the other side of this wall that were done, couple of those were done with masking fluid, which protects, it's basically like rubber cement that kind of you put on the paper prior to painting, at least in the way I use it. And then you do some washes of colors, and then you let that dry, and then you start working down the value scale, working your mids and your darks, and then you peel off the masking fluid, and then you've got your whites back. Anyways, that process takes a lot of time. And so unless I have a couple that are in the oven, I can pull out and show you the process. It takes quite a bit of time. So instead, I'm just going to do a more direct type of painting. I had a, let's see if I can pull it up. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it. I did a really quick, small painting a couple of years ago, and of a Venice scene. It was done on like an eighth sheet size of paper, and I really enjoy it. And if you can't see it, it's similar to this. I did this morning trying to think about, okay, how did I do that? so I kind of reworked it in my head what process I maybe went through to do that painting, and so maybe that'll. And I wrote myself some notes. Okay, this is how you're going to do it. You're going to draw it, and then it says you're going to spatter water. Okay, so that's the first step. But if you're interested in seeing the inspiration to the painting, I have it on my iPad here, and you're welcome to look at it or take photos of it if you want to. You're welcome to do that. Okay, so any questions? Just go ahead and yell them out, because I know I'm just flying right into the painting process, but sometimes people, well, what kind of brush are you using? What kind of paints? What kind of, or what kind of paper, or all that kind of stuff. I'm just going to start painting, but if you have any questions, just go ahead and throw them out at me. And you're also welcome to come on up and come over here and help me paint. Come on over. And so you don't need to feel like you need to sit there. You're welcome to come over and get a closer look, because I know maybe not everyone can see too well through the mirror, so you're welcome to come up and stretch your legs and walk around. Just don't throw anything at me. Sometimes people throw tomatoes and stuff. Please don't do that. All right? Just behave yourself. And also, if you're in the first row, be careful, because I am going to spatter water. All right, we're going to start right now by spattering water. So if you can't see, I'm taking this magic spray bottle, and I'm spattering water all over it. I do this quite a bit because I love the textures you get and the spontaneous fun things that happen when you spatter water. And then if someone's not behaving, you just gun them real quick and just keep going. All right, so no masking fluid. The paper's not taped on. This is a rough, 140-pound rough. So there's a YouTube video of me painting, and I do a lot of spattering too. So if maybe this is nothing new to you. If you've seen the YouTube video, I do a demonstration of spattering some trees. So I'm working down from to light to dark, and from warm to cool here. So now I'm going to move into my blues and let those integrate on paper with the
Was that red matter that you used for the red?
It was I dipped into my Joe's Red, which is a Winsor Red, which is a Pyrrole Red. It's all the same number. But it's on a very clean palette, as you can tell. No, it's very dirty, so it's probably some alizarin crimson, all kinds of weird stuff in there. It'd take a forensic scientist to figure out what exactly is on the palette at this point. So I'm tilting the board and letting those colors integrate a little bit on the, and that's the nice thing about what the setup I have here, is I have a camera tripod which has a ball joint, so I can move this around, because what you want is the freedom of letting those colors integrate. Now look at the subtle changes in color that have been formed. all by themselves. And I should probably have a tissue handy as well, because sometimes, every once in a while, it gets a little out of control. But I think it's behaving pretty well. It's running off the page though. Now I got to ask myself, is it an interesting shape? So when I'm thinking shapes, I'm thinking things like Mama bear, Papa bear, baby bear. Like which is the dominant shape? I think it looks all right. You don't want to kill all the whites of the paper. I want about 80-20, like 80% of it's going to be killed. All right, then we'll just tone the bottom, and that's the first step. So on the bottom here, maybe we will be a little more careful here, and we'll just tone it a little bit. We'll add some darker on there later. This isn't too important because we're going to be putting in our darker values on there in a little bit. We're just kind of toning it with some of the similar colors that are up in the sky. And I'd like to keep this area, if you're kind of wondering, well, what's he thinking? Is he making these messes? I'd like this guy, as you can see in this here, to kind of keep that area light value so I can make that, my area interesting, make that pop. Anyways, that's kind of what I was thinking. We'll see what happens. Okay, so now I have to dry the paper, unfortunately, in watercolor. Sometimes you gotta do it in stages. So that's the first stage. I've been playing around with watercolor, I don't know, on and off for maybe 15, 20 years or something. Yeah, really enjoy it. Okay, so let's look at the lesson plan. What I did this morning. Oh, okay, I didn't do this morning. This morning I did not wet the back, but I was thinking about wetting the back. And wetting the back will just keep, just provide me with more time. I can play with things a little bit more. But then of course when I'm done with that, I might have to dry it a little bit. But actually, when I'm done with my next stage, the only thing that'll need to get painted is the silhouette of this gondolier and maybe a couple little dark dashes here and there. So I'm going to try that. So again, I didn't wet the back on either the iPad one or the one I did this morning, but I thought we should give that a shot. So let's do that. And if I tickle the trigger, it'll give me water droplets. And I sell those for $50. Or you can get it at Target for $1. So I'm wetting the back of the paper.
What kind of paint are you using?
The colors or the manufacturer or everything? I'm actually, well, this is kind of a funny story. But I have a lot of American Journey Cheap Joe paint on there, and I have some Core on there, and I have some Holbein and some Da Vinci, and so I've got every kind of brand. I think this important thing is you have a professional grade watercolor. You don't want a student grade watercolor. But I do think there's probably certain colors that are, certain brands that are probably superior to others, but I think if you get a professional grade, you'll be just fine. I am a representative of Core, though I have not been representing them very well, because I haven't really played too much with their colors yet, so I don't really feel I can speak to their brand yet. But I've gotten a couple boxes of their paints from them, so that was really nice of them. And I'm looking forward to playing with their colors. And the one color I have on here that's Core is this quinacridone gold, and it is super, super rich. You'll see me using it. It's just beautiful. But I'm sure other brands are just as nice. And then I also was teaching at Cheap Joe's last week, and
Could you mention your palette for a minute? I've never seen a palette like that.
oh yeah, yeah. Well,
What is it?
so the palette is a N Plein Air Pro.
Oh, plein air, okay.
N Plein Air Pro, because it hooks right onto my tripod. This is the same setup that I
Right.
use when I paint outdoors, so it just hooks
Okay.
right on there.
Sure.
But the reason it probably doesn't look familiar is I took caulking, and I cocked. So there was only one divider, and I took caulking, I cocked some wells to keep my colors clean.
Oh,
So
you
just
did?
some bathroom caulking.
Yeah.
Okay,
And you gotta really smoosh it down, because it'll leak underneath.
yeah.
And I got that idea from Gordon McKenzie. So Gordon, his palette is just a butcher's tray, and then he takes caulking and he cocks his own wells, really big wells. so
How do you
can
keep
take
the
a big old-
caulking from moving this way instead of staying straight? You know, like a wall?
Oh, you can form it. It's pretty.
Oh, you can?
It's like Play-Doh almost
Oh,
caulking.
oh,
You know.
really?
You just,
Oh, it is?
Yeah, it's like the caulking
Oh,
you use
then
for your
okay,
house.
okay,
Yeah,
oh.
yeah. You can move it. You can manipulate it and stuff. All right, and then let's get. This is I like these Joseph Bufik brushes. Joseph Bufik is my favorite watercolor artist, and everybody's gonna ask. So it's Z-B-U-K-V-I-C. It's Bufik, and you can look at him online on YouTube and check him out. He's amazing, and these are his brushes. They're synthetic, have a real nice snap to them. So those are some of my favorite brushes. I got a bunch of favorites, but that's definitely one of my favorite brushes. Okay, so let's just block in some big shapes here. So this will be some distant color. How about some green? I don't know. Let's see here. Let's get some. So I have no drawing here. We're just going to have fun. Putting in maybe some tops of some structures here. I hear somebody whispering. Are they saying, oh, you ruined that painting? What's he saying? Okay, now it's kind of warmed up a little bit here. Let's think about the main shape back here. Get some of that nice quin gold. Yeah, this thing is kind of strange. Isn't that pretty? No questions.
What kind of green do you use, or do you mix your own?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, green. I have 3 greens on my palette, and I try to create my own green with those greens. You know what I mean, just add different things to it, so it's not a pure viridian or a sap. I also have some phthalo green because sometimes I do these statues. And I like the really bright color they give. Isn't that nice how that all mixes on the paper? Yeah, there. I forgot to use the Bob Ross language when I was doing my clouds, the happy clouds that just float around and have fun all day. There's no trees.
Missed opportunity.
I missed the opportunity. And there's
He's been seen by a whole generation of people
That's right.
yeah.
on TV.
Yep, he's really introduced art to, made it accessible to everybody. Approach, everybody can do it.
Sap green, fail brush,
Yep, this is the Joseph Spookin brush I've been using the whole time.
and it's synthetic.
Yep, all my brushes are synthetic. They, as Thomas Schaller says, they're more ethical. No animal had to be killed for them. So that's nice. But I do have natural hair brushes because I have a lot of the Chinese brush painting brushes, which have all kinds of animals. Let's see here. But I am going to, I was talking to Joe. I said, Joe, let's create our own brushes, the Dave Smith line of brushes. He said, yeah, let's do it. It's all right.
How will yours be different?
My brushes, I'm going to go back, I'm going to do more Chinese brush painting, and they're going to be a synthetic brush that you can use for watercolor and Chinese brush painting. They'll be very versatile. There is already a brush already out there called the Versatile brush. Darn it. But these would be very versatile. And I think it's important to have a brush that you want a variety of brushes. Some that are have a nice spring to them, like the brush I have now in my hand. But you want a nice soft brush at times too.
How do you go about creating a new brush? Do you make prototypes and try different things?
That's why I talked to Joe. Hey, Joe, I think we should have a Dave Smith line of brushes. Yes, I do too. Well, I don't like that, but we're going to play with that in a little bit here. All right. Well, this is fun. Now I'm just having fun, just goofing around here. Now, what I'm doing is I had a consistency of tea on there. Now I'm putting cream into the tea. See that? Letting it melt into.
You were painting that same scene on a larger watercolor sheet, would you be using the same size brush?
I would. Well, maybe I wouldn't. You know, I have other brushes that have a nice snap like this. I have some Cosmotop spins that are really nice. That are a little bigger. I'd probably use something maybe a little smaller. But the thing is the back of it's wet. So I feel like I have time. So I could monkey around with a small brush.
Why is the back being so wet so important?
It allows me to play around with it. So if it wasn't wet, I'd get a lot of hard edges in here earlier, but now that it's so wet, I can move it around. I can move things around a little bit and play with it and keep it soft, keep the edges soft. So watercolor, it's really important to have different kinds of edge quality to your work. You want hard edges, soft edges, lost edges. And so having the back of it wet,
Is that red you added to the trees?
what was that?
Was that a red color? What color
This
was it?
red, this is, I'm picking up some cerulean blue here. Dropping cream into the coffee here.
Looks like you added something that looks kind of red to me.
Yeah, there's red, there's the whole rainbow's on this thing. It
Okay.
is a mess. I don't think we're gonna be able to save it. What will we do?
David, did you say lost edge?
Lost edge, yes.
I'm sorry, define for,
So lost edge, you can't see the edge.
yeah.
So, so we have hard edges. All this is the hard edge right here. And we have soft edges where right here, this is a soft edge. That black that I just put down has a really fuzzy edge, so that's a soft edge. And then we have lost edge where you can't see, like this red right here, you can't see where that red turns into blue. It just disperses so slowly that
Thank you.
yeah. I'm gonna kill some of those whites later. Now the sun's over here, so I'm just darkening up this side of the building and putting some, it's a little bit, I'm gonna gray this up a little bit here now. There. Controlled. Well, are you starting to see something coming out of this mess? I'm just trying the title of this demonstration was Impressionistic Landscape, I believe. I'm trying to give just the impression of the city scene here, Venice. So another fun thing to do. So what I've been doing is I've been playing with different consistencies of paint. So I started with tea consistency. This is tea. And then I added cream to the tea. And now we're going to create the illusion of mist with the tissue.
Diane.
Wasn't this fun? Wouldn't you like to try this?
I'm gonna have to cook this up, but this is not gonna work. I gotta go out to my car and get the other can.
back there, some ships there. Get the embroidery in that curtain back there. There we go.
Is that last?
So, we want to get some sun rays in here. All right, it's pretty dry. Try to get my hands a little cleaner so I don't put any more birds up there.
I haven't been tempted yet.
And you're welcome to take a photo of the original too. It turned out really nice. Just a little teeny one, but I really like it. It's on the iPad. So we're going to just figure out where we want our center of our sun to be. So let's say we'll put this sun like right there. So I put a dot right there, and then we'll take some tape. Is there? Here I got some. Oh, you got some other tape? I'll try some of that. We'll see which one works better. There was a purpose behind that, taking some of the stickiness off, tackiness off of there. Okay, so we need a sunbeam right there. So we'll just, there's very little paint to pick up in the sky. Just hold my brush. I'm just kidding. Oh, here it is. That's the one. Okay. So you want a brush that has a little bit of a snap to it. Again, been using this basically the whole time, the Joseph Screwford brush. I'm not going to want a sunbeam carved into the cloud, so I got to start where the perimeter of the cloud is, right here. And there's not very much paint to pick up.
No.
I'll scrub this area here. I'll take a tissue. Whoop. Just want a subtle feel. I don't want it to look like a UFO's landing behind the city. Just a subtle feel of sun coming through.
Well, that's subtle.
Yeah.
Don't worry, it's gonna, we can get it, we can get the UFO effect if we want. So I would err on the side of subtle. So I always,
You don't add new paint, you just take what's there and take some of it away.
I am, to get the sun rays, I am taking paint away.
Is that paper tape? That's is it white tape, paper tape, or is that just masking tape?
I've got a painter's tape and I've got some masking tape. And this got dirty. You don't want that. Oops, now it's dirtier. Nobody's gonna see it. I pulled up some of the building, there we go. Alright. Alright, you wanna see UFO effect here? Where should we put it? I hate to have put it here, but we'll put it right. Oh, you know what we could do? This would be kind of fancy. A little hole in the cloud will have some sun bursting through the cloud in these little holes. That would be fancy. Let's do that. Right here. Right here. Now I can get a scrubbing brush out and we can really take it away. We want it to be white. It's very light. A little light coming through there. It'll look nice. You don't want it back without it. You're tearing up the paper when you lift it with a fridge scrubber. So you don't want to go back into that too much. Okay. So the gondolier, he's just a silhouette. So we're just going to drop in some tea and then we'll drop in some cream into the tea. Let's see here. We can use some white gouache too if I want, but let's see if we can do without it. So unfortunately, yeah, at the end of the watercolor, typically you're working super loose. You saw how loose everything was. And as you progress, it gets tighter and tighter and tighter, so it's not too much fun to watch little teeny details. But you gotta be super careful. And usually I have another piece of equipment at this point handy, my reading glasses. I'm trying to...
You want to borrow a pair?
I'm trying to not depend on those any longer, any sooner than I have to.
I've got a pair you can borrow if you need it.
Oh, I don't need them. I'm young. I won't need those for use.
Now, explain to you why you're painting it red. Are you painting it red?
I did paint it red, yeah.
Why?
Just some warm underneath it, might
Okay.
pop through
Okay.
under the dark.
Right.
Actually, on the other one, I painted a Quinn Gold, which was actually nice. I should have done that.
So what was the dark you put on there?
Payne's Gray is my dark, yeah. And you've linked the reflection right into the boat. That. Back and floating there. Alright, I think that was pretty good. So now we have the gondolier. Now we'll just, a couple little details here and there. Starting to make sense now.
Leave it there for a minute.
Excuse me.
Okay.
Hate to keep playing with it. Alright, I think that looks good. Put in some of those, what are those things that they tie their boats to? Those are posts. Anybody know?
Yeah, what are they? Yeah, I was.